Marcel is one of the most unique heroes in Mobile Legends, with a passive that stuns enemies around him and an ult that can freeze time. Marcel is the kind of hero that can flip an entire fight. But here's the thing, he's a double-edged sword who can hurt your team just as easily. Don't worry though, we're gonna cover everything you need to know to play Marcel, from his passive to his skills, build, emblem, and all the tricks in between. So let's start with his passive, which is called Platinum Snap. First off, all bonus HP gets converted into hybrid defense, which makes him super tanky in the early game. But once late game hits and enemies have a lot of penetration, Marcel won't be that tanky. Second, Marcel's basic attacks can't crit. His attack speed can't increase, and his basic attacks only scale off 40% of his attack damage, physical defense, and magic defense. So don't even think about using a damage build, since none of those items are useful. Now here's the really interesting part of his passive, his camera. The camera automatically attacks everyone around Marcel. Each hit stuns the enemy and deals true damage based on their max HP. Nearby teammates also get a shield equal to the damage dealt. The downside is the camera has a 12-second cooldown per target. Luckily, every single basic attack you land shaves off a second. Yeah, I know, that's a lot of passive effects, but it really boils down to 3 things. He's super tanky early but gets squishier over time, never build damage items, and keep auto-attacking to maximize your stun. Don't worry, his first and second skills aren't nearly as complicated. His first skill is called Framed Moment. All nearby enemies get slowed. Then after charging for 2.5 seconds, they get immobilized for 1 second. The damage scales off physical and magic defense. This skill ain't that useful on its own though, so let's talk about his second skill, Cracking Shot. Marcel charges forward and gains movement speed. The speed boost gets even faster when you're moving toward an enemy. You can press it again to dash, but after the dash, you drop your camera and lose the movement speed. So the second skill works both offensively and defensively. For offense, don't use the dash. Just use the first skill and the base second skill, because if you dash, your first skill gets left behind and you lose your speed boost. For defense, like if you need to escape, use the first skill then second skill and dash at just the right moment to immobilize whoever's chasing you. Besides the second skill, his ult called Golden Hour also works both ways. Let's break it down. Marcel creates a giant circle and everyone inside except Marcel gets hit with frozen time. This effect freezes everything in place. So skills don't get cancelled, they just resume after the freeze ends. This CC is almost as strong as Suppress because it bypasses immunity and can't be purified. The problem is, while it can create huge plays for your team, it can also help the enemy because it freezes your teammates too. So you really need to understand when to use it offensively and when to use it for zoning. For offense, the concept is pretty simple, but the execution is the hardest part. Basically, you aim your ult at the enemies, then your team attacks while they're frozen. Sounds easy, right? The issue is the ult area is massive, so if your teammate gets caught in it, they'll be frozen too and nobody can follow up. And because that's so hard to pull off, using your ult for zoning is way more consistent. You don't even need to hit anyone, you just need to block their path. For example, if you're grabbing the turtle and the enemy team tries to contest, just ult the entrance, or if you're picking someone off and their team wants to help, ult the path they take. That way, the fight becomes a 5-on-1, while the other 4 have to walk all the way around your ult. Alright, so that covers all his skills, but which one should you upgrade first? Prioritize your ult because it's your strongest ability, then your second skill for extra movement speed which helps you chase and escape, and your first skill last. For his emblem, go for the tank emblem with defensive and supportive talents that help your rotations like these emblems. For his build, Dominance Ice and Oracle are must-have items. Fill the rest with tank items depending on the enemy.